The older I get, the more I realize that the biggest things that we can't afford aren't always financial. Sometimes the cost is staying stuck or the cost of another year of waiting. I realize that changing your life doesn't start with changing your circumstances. It starts with admitting that the life you've built no longer fits the person you're becoming. And for me, that realization didn't come overnight. It was quieter than that. It actually took me a few years to come to that realization because for the most part, my life looked pretty good. I mean, I worked for a good company, I made a good salary, I had a stable career, I had a boss that I liked who actually treated me well. And over the course of 6 years, I knew my job pretty well, almost to a point where I can do it with my eyes closed. And I thought that was the goal, like to reach a point where everything felt easy, because there's something beautiful about comfort. It provides you with security. It provides you with stability. It provides you with peace of mind. But being comfortable for so long, actually, it asks less and less of you. What I mean by that is that it stops asking you to be brave or to be curious. It stops asking you to grow. It came to a point where I would wake up every single day and realize that every week felt like the same routine, the same commute. There was nothing wrong with any of it. And maybe that's why it took me so long to admit that something was missing. Because I wasn't running away from a bad life. People often think burnouts come from working too hard, but sometimes it comes from not growing anymore. I realized I wasn't tired because I was busy. I was tired because nothing was changing. I wasn't learning. I wasn't challenging myself. There weren't any surprises. And I think that's when I understood something that has completely changed the way that I see life. Real growth almost never happens when you're comfortable. Growth lives in uncertainty. It lives in awkward first conversations. It lives in making decisions before you feel completely ready. It lives in choosing the unfamiliar over the predictable. Looking back, I think I had been waiting for confidence before I made a change. But maybe confidence isn't something that comes first. Maybe confidence is what grows after you choose courage. Around the same time, I kept thinking about leaving Montreal. For a long time, I imagined myself living somewhere else. And I kept saying to myself that one day I was going to do it because Montreal is my home, or at least it used to feel like that. And that's the strange thing about home. Sometimes it doesn't change at all. Sometimes you do. I don't know if the city changed or I changed. Maybe it was both. But the streets that once felt familiar started feeling smaller. It wasn't that I loved my home any less. It was that I had quietly outgrown the version of myself who belonged here. I wanted to wake up somewhere that made me curious again. I wanted to feel slightly uncomfortable, slightly uncertain. For so long, I kept coming back to certainty. I thought one day I would wake up and know exactly what to do. But that's not how change works. You don't suddenly just become fearless. You become willing. You're willing to disappoint the old version of yourself, willing to leave something behind in pursuit of something that makes you feel more alive. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I wanted a different life. I had to start making different decisions. Not someday, but now. So after 6 years, I quit my job. Even saying those words is so surreal because it's not like I left my company because I hated my job. In fact, I was actually walking away from people that I actually cared about, which made this decision so bittersweet. I had a boss that believed in me. I had a stable career. But sometimes the hardest things to leave aren't the worst things. They're actually the things that try and convince you to stay. But I kept coming back to one question. If I stay because it's comfortable, then what am I giving up? Maybe growth, maybe adventure, maybe the version of me that's on the other side of this. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen, and that scares me. But for the first time in years, I'm moving towards something instead of just standing still. And that feeling, it feels like I'm coming back to life.